Edmonton XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you in. Today's new drug is one day closer to the weekend, one day closer to you getting to go watch that mini camp that we're all excited about, the rookie mini camp, if rain cooperates. Hope it does. It's going to rain a little bit over the weekend. That comes up on Saturday. In the meantime, we got a lot to do here on the program. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva with you. Hays Carlyon on vacation today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, by the way, we'll be out at the University of North Florida. They play Queens in an ASUN baseball series. And the last Rumble, by the way, there'll be UNF and JU will be playing at JU next week. But so the next Rumble or the last Rumble will be right before the ASUN baseball tournament. But for now, it's Queens coming to UNF. We'll be out there watching some UNF baseball going live from the ballpark tomorrow. Fun show today, by the way. Lee Smith will join us in just a bit by phone. He's at the Truist already. He's covering golf on the road on the tour, but he'll check in, tell us what he saw today, and we'll talk a little bit of golf. So Lee is with us coming up in just a bit. And then Johnny O will be here. John Ozier, my buddy, from my 35-year friend John Ozier, who does such a great job. The Ozone will be in here for the rest of the show. We'll keep him here from 4:30, 4:40 or so to the rest of the show. We'll talk all kind of Jaguars. I want to see what John thinks about all this stuff we're all so excited about, the Travis Hunter deal and so much else and what we expect to see on the field. So a lot of fun stuff coming up today on the program. We're glad you're with us here. Thanks to our friends from Stanley Pools, always our Thursday sponsor around here. JJ, I feel for you. Dude, I feel for you.
Just in general?
No, I feel for you this weekend. I feel for you. So let me tell you what's happened, okay? The Pittsburgh Pirates have won 12 games. You know that, right?
Oh, do we play you guys?
Let's just listen.
Oh, my
you
God.
You just sit back and listen to what you're going to do, okay? So, but unfortunately for you, it all got fixed today, JJ, okay? Here's the deal. You have the worst owner maybe in the history of modern baseball, okay? Worst, cheapest owner ever. You've got a general manager whose teams had finished in last place 8 of his last 9 years, so he's an awful general manager. You've won 12 games. You have the worst roster in baseball. But now you fire the manager, JJ, so it's all fixed. Okay? It's all,
listen, you guys are
it's
going to
all
have
fixed now,
the
JJ.
new manager bounce.
Yeah, no question.
I actually don't like playing you guys right after you fire a manager because it always happens.
Listen.
You're going to win like the next 4 out of 5 or something like that and get false hopes.
Well, I listen, I think we've got – I'm not going to lie to you. I think the Pirates are going to run roughshod over these next 3 opponents, the Braves, the Mets, and the Phillies.
Oh, my
Okay?
God.
We're going to just run – this is going to fix it all, JJ.
You should probably have waited to fire him after that just because you know that he's going to be bad. But, yeah, I saw that they fired. What's his name? Derek
Shelton. Baseball
Derek
people.
Shelton
Listen, I don't know if he's any good. He may be terrible, but I love this fact. You got a lousy owner. You're the third lowest payroll in the league. You haven't won a division championship since the early 90s. But you're going to fix it all by firing the manager.
Scapegoat.
Yeah, that is that.
So, you feel bad for those guys.
Yeah.
That you just and because he was the Pirates manager and it went so not great,
right.
It's going to hurt him to get another job. So it's like you'll never really know if he's a good manager or not.
That's exactly right. So anyway, I just feel for you. The pain's coming. I'm preparing you for the pain.
I'm glad you told me because I'm one of those guys where I wake up and I figure out who we play that day. Okay. I don't really look too much ahead. But knowing that you guys are on the horizon, I'm actually pretty excited about that.
You don't think we're going to get to win 13 anytime soon,
dude? Honestly, we suck too. So it could be like 1-0 games all weekend.
Goodness gracious! I got a kick out of that. But JJ and I are going head to head. Let me tell you those finals, okay? Because you guys don't hit much either. So let me give you all 3 final scores. You're going to win 6-1. 5-2 and 7-3 in the offensive shootout. Okay, I'll give you all 3 scores. You don't have to watch. Keep watching the NBA. Watch a little golf. I just gave you all 3 scores, just so you know. It'll be a sweep because that's kind of what we do is get swept. So just all that. A lot of things I want to talk about today. Did you see where Jadeveon Clowney got let go by the Panthers?
Yeah, he 5.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, but he had 9.5 the year before with the Ravens. He's 32. And I'll ask John Ozier this, but if you're a Jaguar, any interest if you're the Jags? If it's you? Would you?
Yeah, you got to add depth at that position. Yeah. I wouldn't hate that at all.
Yeah. My friend Pete,
and he's probably super cheap.
Yeah, he would be. He was owed $13 million, but they cut him, so now you make whatever deal you want. My friend Pete Prisco always says, be careful of name over game. Just because he's a guy you know his name and he was good once upon a time, don't just assume he's automatically going to be good now. He is 32 years old. But I will tell you, I get a hunch if he goes like he was on the Panthers, who are a lousy team, all right, and so more was expected of him. When he was on the Ravens, who have a good team and a very good defense 2 years ago, and he could play in spots, he was pretty good. He was a pretty good player 2 years ago. So I'm intrigued. I'm usually not the guy that's intrigued by the big name guy who's suddenly available, because there's usually a reason they're available. The stories you read, the Panthers tried to move him. There were really no takers. That's why they whacked him. And
sometimes when a guy plays for the Panthers, you wonder how motivated he really was last year. You know, a veteran 31-year-old dude playing on a team with no hope to even go to the playoffs, really. Like, is he busting his ass like he would if he played on a contender?
Like he did 2 years ago on the Ravens.
Or like he could do if the Jags are, in a playoff hunt or something.
But I think if you're playing behind Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen, who are both very good players, Emmanuel Ogbah's there too. Now there's some, I don't know, that one I'll ask John Ozier, and it may not, and I'll snoop around. I just saw the thing today. I'll snoop around and ask, but rarely am I the guy that's intrigued by the big name old guy, because usually there's a reason they're available. But in this instance, as a situational pass rusher, I'll tell you this. I've told the story before. The most dominant college game I ever called, I called a South Carolina-Clemson game. JJ, I want to say it was 2013. It was either 12 or 13. It was either 2012, 2013. It was at Clemson. It was South Carolina at Clemson, all right? And South Carolina won. Spurrier was there. That's when they were pretty good. He had listen to me, he had 4.5 sacks. 4.5 in the game.
2012.
Yeah, okay, so he had 4.5 sacks. He had about 2 or 3 pass deflections. He had another 1 or 2 tackles for loss. It was the most dominant game of my 7 years of calling college games, and 25 years of covering college games before that. It was the most dominant game I ever saw. Now, again, it was 13 years ago. I get it. But it was an amazing, amazing game that Jadeveon Clowney had at Clemson.
Against the top 10 Clemson team. I'm watching the highlights right now. Yeah, 2012, 4.5 sacks.
Yes, 4.5
dominant.
Dominant. I'm telling you, it was 4.5 sacks, and that didn't even scrape the surface of what he did in that game. It was amazing calling that game. We were laughing. I was calling the game with Casey Jones, a former Miami center. We were laughing at how dominant he was. We were laughing about the way he took over the game. It was amazing. It was truly
ESPN
amazing.
Loved that guy.
Yeah,
we all remember the asinine amount of times that we had to watch the Michigan fumble/sack at the same time in the bowl game that he had. He's just a freak athlete, and hasn't really lived up, really lived up to expectations. But I'd love to see him as a depth guy for the Jags for sure.
It's really intriguing. I'll snoop around. I'll say this: the Jags are pretty convicted in what they do. The Jags don't have many moments of uncertainty. This group, this at least so far, this Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, Liam Cohen group, there doesn't seem to be much uncertainty. They are very authoritative. They are very convicted, and so they'll either like it or they'll know pretty quick if they want to be in. And I'm guessing, by the way, because the Panthers really tried to move him. And I'm guessing at this, I got to believe the Jags are among the teams they called, because the Jags, at least until the Ogbah deal, had virtually no depth at edge, and they still don't have a whole lot. So, but we'll see. That's one of the few that have intrigued me, so we'll certainly ask that question coming up today as well. I know in the handoff we talked about the NBA last night. Were you shocked that the Knicks did it again?
Yes.
You and I talked about it.
I didn't even watch it live because I was just like, I saw the score. I watched a little bit of the first half, but I was mostly watching the Braves, and I saw that it got kind of out of hand, and I turned it off. And then you get that ESPN update / text from Leon.
Right.
That's just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And so I rewatched the second half this morning, just like, what happened? And once again, the Celtics and their shot selection, and they're non-offensive, like there's no plays going on. Like if the first action they do on offense gets shut down, they just settle for a crazy three. It looked like a team that said, hey, we won a title last year.
Yes.
What happens if we lose this year? What's the biggest, what's the worst that could happen?
It certainly felt that way. And honesty compels me to report, full disclosure, JJ and I, after our show yesterday, were kind of chuckling about how badly we thought the Celtics were going to beat them.
I was like, dude, Celtics by 20.
We both said that.
So when I saw the score, I'm like, yep, I was right.
Yeah, same. And but it just, and again, I'm such a fraud if I try to act like NBA knowledge guy, because I'm not, but I did watch, and it just seems like there's a sense of urgency that the Knicks play with more than the Celtics. I think that obviously the Celtics have more good players because they're one of the better teams in the league, although the Knicks are pretty good. But it just seems like there's a sense of urgency.
I agree.
That the Knicks are playing with, and the Celtics, boy, they seem casual.
Yes, casual is a great word for it because that's what they are on a lot of those offensive possessions. And, like you said, the Knicks are playing their butt off. Like Cat last night, Karl Anthony Towns really had to be the protagonist for the Knicks last night until the fourth quarter. And he was battling with Horford like – he got a bazillion rebounds. He just played his ass off. And like you said, the Celtics seem like, hey, we're the Celtics. We're so much better than them. Who cares if they get it a little close? Like, we're going to win this game. There's no way we blow another 20-point lead. And then you look up and there's 3 minutes left. It's a 5-point game. And they're still settling for these terrible possessions. It's crazy. They're still odds-on favorite to win the series.
Is that right?
Yeah, they are minus 120, which means you have to bet 120 to win 100, and the Knicks are even odds, so you only get 1 for 1, which it's insane because it's only happened 35 times in the history of the NBA in a 7-game series where the away team has won the first 2 games, and they're 30-5. Over 85% of the time they win that. But Vegas still thinks, Boston should be the favorite here. And I don't know if I disagree with them, actually.
So if you were with no odds, okay, if you were straight up right now betting who you think's going to win the series, where would you bet?
Celtics.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I don't think I would. I hear you. I get it.
Because they were up 20 in both games.
I know. I get it, but I don't think I would. I just think...
I feel crazy saying
if I hadn't watched it, right, I would say, okay, now they're awake. They did lead both games by 20. But, man, oh, man, they just look like there's not a lot of – I don't know. And, again –
and Kristaps, huge question mark with him. He has an illness question mark that he had 2 months ago and had to miss time, but now it's coming back again, and he's sort of playing half the game. I don't even know what's up with him.
And he's also the guy out there saying the pressure's on the Knicks. I don't know.
Did he say that?
Yeah, Porzingis is the one that said it.
Hilarious.
He's the one that said it. So.
I see his point in that, well, now you're up 2-0 and you're going home. If you don't win now, it's a humongous choke.
Yeah. Shaq and Barkley said the same thing.
You guys are the more talented team.
Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously, Oklahoma City made a point. They made a point last night, so I
got to turn that one off pretty early.
Yeah, I never went. Too late for me, bro. So, but it'll from this point forward, it'll be kind of fun watching. All right, we got other things we want to get to over the course of the program. Some college football thoughts coming up, but a lot of Jaguar talk with my friend John Ozier. He'll be here at 4:40. Johnny, I'll got an hour and a half. We can talk about all kind of stuff, not just Jaguar stuff, all kind of stuff. John and I covered a lot of sports together over the years, so I'm certainly looking forward to that. Comes up in a bit. But after this quick timeout, let's head to Philadelphia. Our friend Lee Smith, who's our golf analyst, also the executive director of the Players. He's at the Truist Championship. We'll talk golf and more with Lee. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Your home for Florida Gators baseball is 1010XL.
The Rowdy Reptiles make a trip to Texas for a weekend series with the #1 team in the nation, Gators Longhorns. Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon on 1010 AM.
Fantastic news here. Due to overwhelming response, Beers Diamonds extending their amazing earring and bracelet sale for Mother's Day. Picking here. So now through Mother's Day, you can still save up to 40% off diamond earrings and diamond tennis bracelets. It's Beers' most ambitious offer ever, and response has been incredible. The corporate-owned big box stores can't touch these prices. Beers, locally owned, man. Say hi to the Lupos when you go over there. The freedom to give you pricing you deserve. Highest quality diamond jewelry. Celebrate the mothers in your life with something they'll appreciate for decades to come. They also have special pricing on other Mother Day favorites, including colored gemstones, pearls, pendants, and fashion jewelry. Beards Diamonds, your destination for making this Mother's Day truly special. Don't miss Beards Diamonds' biggest sale ever. Up to 40% off Beards' already beatable value price. Now through Mother's Day at the Town Center. only locally owned jeweler. It's Beard's Diamonds.
Hey, I've got that craving again. How about some Mr. Chubby's wings?
Have you had the Chubby style wings? Grilled to perfection with Chubby's secret seasoning.
You know I have. They are so delicious. I swear you can't find anywhere in town with better wings and better prices on drinks.
So many different specials each night, too. Well, I'm ready to chub it up again.
Me too.
See all their specials at MrChubby'sWings.com. Locations on Fleming Island, the West Side, and now Ponte Vedra Beach. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Get more Gators with Dan Hickett and me, Frank Frangie, on all things Gators on 1010XL Gators Podcast, with new episodes every Monday, brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This Mother's Day season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. Buy a $75 gift card or more and guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes a perfect gift for everyone. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Mother's Day is coming, so come to Jacksonville Flower Market and pick the perfect bouquet for the special mom in your life. They even customize the bouquet so it's exactly what she wants. Mention 1010XL and get 15% off. Jacksonville Flower Market off Beach and Southside.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's talk a little golf. Our golf analyst is also the executive director of the Players Championship. My friend Lee Smith joins us, who's on the road covering a golf or watching some golf. Joins us now from the Truist event. Lee, how you doing, buddy?
Doing very well. Good afternoon, guys.
Yeah, you having fun up? You having fun up? By the way, Hays is gone. It's just me. You're stuck with just me today, so I apologize.
Oh my goodness.
So if you want to bail, I understand. So there's that. What's going on up there? Tell me what's going on in Philly. How's the weather? What took you up there? Do you go to a handful of events yearly? Is that kind of a thing?
I do a couple of things. I think probably start off. Our great partners of the Players Championship at Nemours are very prominent in the medical community up here and over in Delaware, and I got invited to play in the Pro-Am up here yesterday. So got paired with Ben On and Ben Griffin and myself and a couple others had a great time, great weather. Golf course was really good. So mixed in a little bit of fun among some work, Frank.
How'd you hit it?
About as expected. Some really good ones, some squirrely ones, and a lot of mediocre.
Your mediocre is different than the rest of our mediocre, but I get it. I truly get it. Hey, Ricky Fowler sighting today. That was kind of cool. And listen, I know there's young, really good players that people are paying more attention to, but I'm an old guy, and when a guy from yesterday kind of rears his head, not that he's all that old, that's kind of cool. He played, obviously Denny McCarthy's got the lead, but Ricky Fowler was good today, huh?
Yeah, really good. I'm actually got it on in front of me, the TV in front of me. I didn't go out there today, but seeing Ricky play well, seeing Jordan Spieth have a really good round, at the final round last week. It's nice to see some of those guys that that we haven't heard of or maybe haven't played as consistent here this year or the last couple years peak out and maybe create some momentum for the future, certainly.
So, and I was going to, about that, and when I saw the leaderboard today, I've been going to ask you this in one of these anyway. Lee, when a really good player, these guys are, Spieth and Dustin Johnson and JT Fowler, so many of them were that 8 years ago, whenever, were the dominant players. When that changes, why does it change? Is it like any other sport? They're a few years older. They're not as limber. Maybe it's a dumb question, but you know what I mean? It happens in every sport, by the way. It's not a golf thing. But you know golf better than anybody I know. What changes a little bit? Is it putting? What changes when the guys aren't quite as good as they were, 6 years ago?
Yeah, I think it can be a multitude of things, and there's probably not one thing that, that you can pinpoint, and it's probably different for every player. I would say some players would tell you that maybe they tried to make a change to get better, whether that was changing technique of a golf swing or chasing distance or doing some of those things that it took them 2 years to maybe realize, hey, I got to go back to being an artist instead of being a scientist.
Yeah.
I think sometimes obviously age catches up with you. So I think one thing everybody will tell you is that, late in careers, your feels are a little bit different. Your hands are just a little bit different. Your body's just a little bit different. You still may be able to swing it at the same speed, but how you handle pressure and anxiety and being in contention is a little bit different as you get older. As I said, I think some, start to tinker a little bit. You change golf clubs, you change vendors, a lot of those types of things I think can have an impact. And then I would say lastly, sometimes it's just golf courses.
Right.
Frank, you are really good on short and tight golf courses, and now some of the golf, we don't have as many of those on tour, and it's a little bit of, maybe that guy that hits the golf ball a long ways has more of an advantage than your type of game. So then you go and chase speed, you get on that hamster wheel, and it just doesn't. You never know how to right the ship at that point.
Yeah, and golf is. Those of us that play it at the once a week level and those that are great players all can relate to the psychology of it. That's a great point. You're exactly right. Colin Morikawa playing well. We're waiting, aren't we? We're waiting for that move from him because he's right there, isn't he, Lee? Colin Morikawa is right there with his game, I think.
Yeah, always been one of the best iron players in the game. The way that he's able to hit long irons way up in the air, hit them left to right, land soft. it's just one of those skills, especially on today's longer golf courses. And as you get into majors, that really gives him a tremendous advantage. Not the longest hitter in the world. Seems like when he starts to get his putter rolling a little bit. I think, Frank, his recent caddy change was, maybe one of those things that both of those guys needed to just kind of provide a spark or give some momentum. So totally agree. Obviously playing well today, but as we move into what is it? I think the next 6 weeks we've got like 2 or 3 signature events and 2 majors. So really a great time to be playing well. And I would agree. Watch out for Colin Morikawa over this next 5 or 6 week stretch.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a signature now, and obviously a major a week away. Tell me about Truist. Tell me about the course. Tell me about what to expect. We got 3 more days. I want to look ahead to Quail Hollow in a minute. But final thought here. What's the course like? Who does it favor? Give us a little bit of an overview. What to expect the next 3 days.
Yeah, the oldest country club in America. 1854 is when it opened. They've got 36 holes here. The golf course that they're playing, really has some undulating greens. I think the greens are rolling about 12.5. You'll see a lot of break, a lot of putts that just trickle around the holes that guys are really just trying to stop it close, even from 15 to 20 feet. The greens are kind of the defense. And, it looks like tee times are going to move a little bit earlier tomorrow with some rain forecasted, which, will really soften the golf course. And I think will allow the guys to take dead aim. You see 8s and 7s and 6s on the board now. I think that'll only maybe get a little bit easier as the week goes along. So I think it's going to take a significant amount under par to win this golf tournament. But a great property, somewhat wide open, but I think fans are going to get to see a lot of birdies.
Very cool. It's going to be, and I love watching birdies. All right, next time we visit with you, we'll be 1 day into the PGA. Tell me about Quail Hollow. Tell people that have not been. Look, you can get there. It's in Charlotte, so you can get there if you want to go. But tell people about what it's like, what to expect. What's that golf course likely?
I would say if you watch this week at Philly Cricket Club, a club that's again 170 years old. Not exactly this property that you see, but the club in general. And it's really, really tight as far as the space. All the holes are on top of each other, right next to each other. Really a old school country club feel. Frank, Quail Hollow is the exact opposite.
Okay.
A massive ballpark that covers a lot of land and really was built to host big time tournaments. Has hosted majors in the past. Hosts this event on an annual basis, the Truist Championship, when not hosting a major. Just going to be a massive build out, a long golf course, covers a lot of acreage, and in a place, as in Charlotte and in the Carolinas that are just massive sports fans, whether it's racing or basketball or you name it. And so I think it's going to be a really, really raucous crowd, going to be a packed house every day. And hey, for those Rory fans out there, there's rumor out there they're going to change it to Rory McIlroy Country Club, right? He's won there a couple times. He's got a runner-up. He's got 4 top 10s. I think, look at his game this weekend as he continues to show his form. It's only going to be, it's only going to show true even more next week at Quail Hollow.
And that you're one step ahead of me. That's the next question. He's the hottest golfer in the world. He's probably the best golfer in the world right now. And he's going next week to a place he plays very well. What to expect? More pressure on him or more confidence because of all that? I got to believe he's going to race up there with all kind of confidence. Wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. I don't think, now that he's gotten the monkey off his back, so to speak, with his Masters victory, and now going into a place where he feels really, really comfortable, has good memories, not much scar tissue, all of those types of things. I can only imagine as long as he, plays pretty well this week, which, looked like he's doing here in round 1. I think he'll go in there with a tremendous amount of confidence. And then that's when, the pressure might start after that, because, Then you move into an Oakmont that is another big ballpark and favors a long hitter, and then you'd finish up major season, in his home country at Royal Port Rush. I don't think he'll feel much pressure going into this second major, but if he were to come out on top, I think that's when it might start.
Yeah, all right. So it'll be fun to watch. Give me a couple before I want to ask you about the Red Coat program in a second. But before we do, give me 2 or 3 other guys to watch. Any young guys that could factor next week? And I'm probably saying the name wrong, but Akshay, is it Bhatia? I guess I need to learn to say it because he's fantastic. He's only 23.
Yeah.
Young players to watch, would you say, next week or no?
Yeah, I think it's hard not to. The great thing about the PGA is PGA Championship, very similar to the Players Championship, is it is a massive field that is, pretty darn deep from top to bottom. Obviously, in this tournament, the back end of club professionals getting a spot, but really from 1 to 130 or 1 to 135, it is a deep, deep field. So you probably will see some names that maybe players or spectators and fans haven't heard of before. But, I think you hit the nail on the head. Akshay Bhatia has shown his mettle in high-profile events like majors and really showed well at the Players Championship coming down the stretch, hitting shot for shot with Rory and J.J. Spawn. He's had some good major performances. You can't pass up Ludwig, a great property for him as a young player. Sometimes we forget about him because he's been out. It feels like he's been out there for a while, but still really a young guy. I think he's going to play well. And then we see a couple of guys that have peaked. Andrew Novak, not a young guy, a journeyman and a grinder, but a guy that is just really, really playing well and is going to head into any tournament with a ton of confidence. So I think that's what's great about the PGA Championship is a big, deep field that a lot of players will have a chance at.
All right, Lee. Final thing. Family obligations drew me away last week. I haven't been with you for a while, but last time you and I visited, you had not yet launched this year's Red Coat Grant program. I know that's a big deal to you guys. Tell us how that's going and what's going on with the players these days.
Yeah, the Red Coat program. As you know, Frank, we've now had 51 chairmen of the Players Championship, having played 51 years, and they're the Red Coats that really contribute to the growth and expansion and profile of the tournament in the community. And as leaders of our volunteer force, over 2,000 each year, they have a grant program that comes out of the proceeds generated at the Players, and that is just started and going on the Players Championship website, theplayers.com, and organizations that are in need here in Northeast Florida can apply for those grant programs, and those Red Coats will deliberate later in the summer and pick those worthwhile organizations. A really, really great program that allows our volunteer team or the representatives of our volunteer team to have an impact on the community through the dollars generated at the Players. It's, fun to be a part of. And then overall, Frank, it's, we're really working hard. The whole team is working hard to scan our surveys, getting through recap season, talking to all our partners. And, we've got a bunch of objectives and plans that we're, vetting out now and working hard to continue to upgrade. I think one of the things I always hear is the tournament gets bigger and better every year, and we take that as an obligation here in that off season to bring in new partners, have new ideas, and do exactly that, make it bigger and better, and with a lot of things that people notice in improvements from year to year.
Well, you guys have hit that right on the screws. I can tell you that. As we say goodbye, thanks for joining us. I also haven't talked to you since our buddy Kareem Richardson landed at Xavier. I know you're excited about that. I'm excited about it for him. He's one of your best friends, and I've gotten to know him through you, and he's a wonderful guy. That's exciting news, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's excited. It's a great fit. It's a program that Richard Pitino's taken over and wants to continue with a proud history at that level, big time basketball. It also gets him back into the Midwest where his family is in Indianapolis and really his recruiting hotbed of where he knows best, and, really excited to deliver a winner. It's tough when you go to the Final Four and and then you know, as a coach, and then the next year you go as a spectator without a job. But to land at Xavier and working back in the Patino family, he's certainly really excited.
And well, you tell K. Rich we're happy for him. And yeah, that 1 year he had to do it without a job, he had to hang out with us, right, Lee? That's what he was stuck having to do. So, but it was great seeing him, and I'm really happy.
That's right. That was probably his incentive to get a job, Frank.
I have no doubt.
He probably said, I need to make sure I'm playing so I don't have to hang out with these guys.
That's so true. Absolutely right. Lee, have a great time up there. We appreciate it. We'll see you in studio next week. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Frank.
All
Look
right,
forward to it.
my buddy Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship, our golf analyst, and a terrific guy. Great to talk golf with Lee. Let's take a break. When we come back, my buddy Johnny O joins us. John Ozier from Jaguars.com. John's going to stay with us for the rest of the show. We're going to talk some Jaguars and maybe a whole lot more. That comes up after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
No, 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
What did I do?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Go on. Ignorance is bliss. And I'm listening to everything you say.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be an 8-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness, all part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Visit nimnickchevy.com to learn more. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. I've been buying my vehicles from Nimnick since 1982 because they care about their customers and are invested in our local community, including supporting walk-off charities. And all we're trying to do to help underprivileged kids learn to play baseball. Treating you right, giving back to the community, more choices and better prices for you. So who has put the most years and stands behind a better experience? The answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Visit their showroom off Cassett Avenue or shop 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com. Head to Nimnick today. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
Hand off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein & Robbins DUI Defense Firm and Monahan Jewelers on 1010XL.
Raise the stakes on excitement at Best Bet, your go-to spot for unbeatable entertainment with locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. Not a poker pro? No problem. Get in on the casual games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and one-card poker. Hungry? Fuel up your game. We're serving up delicious bites and craft cocktails, and we're open late. For details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, your go-to spot for a thrilling night.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me, if you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. South specialists.
Need the right tools for the job without the full-time price tag? Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach is what you need when you need it. From heavy machinery for commercial projects to weekend projects at the house, we've got you covered. We've been serving Jacks for 50 years. Visit Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach, just behind Aqua East Surf Shop, or call today. We also have event rentals too. Tucker Equipment Rentals. Tools you need without the price tag of purchasing.
Got a leaky faucet? AC blowing hot air? No worries. Duck Rooter has your back. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, AC, and a whole lot of quacking good service.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
Everyone seems to be in a time crunch these days. Well, don't forget you can always count on the cold case at Daly's. Always convenient, always cold. Whether it's the king of beers, Natty Light, Stella, or Cigar City, a Goose Island or Bud Light Seltzer. Dash into Daly's and grab one to go.
What a Guggen this will be. If you and a friend would like to play in this year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open Golf Tournament May 19th at Hidden Hills Golf Club, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to win.
He just got a hole-in-one.
Score a hole-in-one and win an Atlantic Infinity SUV. ET makes a putt, you win lunch at Twin Peaks, a Chick-fil-A breakfast, and a Dandy Foods lunch. Thanks to our sponsors, Injury Care Centers, Kingfish Pest Control, and Valor Roofing.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's time for Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Osher. Oh No's.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
My buddy John Osher. So you know what I like about this?
I like the one, Frank, that says, oh, no.
Yeah, oh, no, I do.
Yeah.
But what I like is, you know, when you're old, you don't get to be around as many old people. Love having you in. Love having you in here.
Let's clarify. You're older.
Actually, a good bit.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is, once you get a certain age, we're all in there together. That's how I see it, John.
Yeah, I don't see it that way.
Nor would I. John Osher does a great job. I think you all know that by now with Jaguars.com and a lot of the digital offerings, including the EVP podcast.
EVP podcast.
I like the EVP. You having fun with the EVP podcast?
It is
you
fun.
have to put up with that knucklehead, but other than that, you having fun with it?
Yeah, you got to put up with it. And, I love giving Tony grief here and there because we go back for so long. But at the same time, for people who've listened to it, there is an element, and the challenge to the EVP podcast, which is the podcast we do with Executive Vice President of Football Operations, and I'm giving him a little grief about.
Yeah.
I mean, can we shorten up the title a bit?
Absolutely.
Is people have heard, they've seen Tony Baselli, the football player, and older Jaguars fans know that guy. Yeah. They've also heard Tony Baselli, the radio guy.
Right.
And because Tony is a very capable person, he's very capable of playing different roles in different roles. So he's kind of the big goofball that you can make fun of, talk football and argue with when he's on the radio. But Frank, you know this as well or better than I do. He's also a really sharp, really common sense, very high-end leader of people, organizationally off the charts, which, I've never talked to him about that on the air before because it's not that fun to talk to when you're analyzing football about that. But in his role now, that's what I'm trying to bring out and talk with him a little more. And at the same time, somebody who watched the podcast a couple weeks ago mentioned, it's really cool because it's like I'm sitting in the couch listening to you guys.
Right.
Well, that's why I wanted to do it, because I've known Tony for 30 years. I think there's a trust beyond all the joking we do back and forth. And so if I can get people to sort of feel like they're with him in that sense and talking about the Jags in that light, that's pretty cool. And I think as you know, there's different dynamics when you're interviewing somebody. I think we're working toward that, making that more comfortable and easy. And I'm excited about it. And as I told somebody, at my age with this experience in the business, I don't get that excited about a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's kind of my role. I'm the cynical newspaper guy.
Not you.
But it's fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's very interesting to me to be working with Tony in this capacity after so many other capacities for so long. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, first of all, you guys do a good job. It's really good. Back to, and I mean that sincerely, back to my point about Tony. I like it better now because he's like works so hard. He never hears the show, because before I'd get a text mid-show. Okay?
Sure.
I mean, he might as well just be the executive.
What are you
producer.
doing, Frangie?
Yeah, he must be the executive producer.
Right.
I mean, because he would, if we got something wrong,
Right.
the phone was blowing up.
Yeah.
But now he's working too hard to do it, so he doesn't hear the show. So that's good, because he doesn't get to hear me say all these really nice things about him, because I'd rather give him heck. But I will tell you this. In addition to being a great player and a really good dude, you hit something a minute ago. He is a really skilled executive.
Mm-hmm.
He's smart. He knows how to lead people. He understands the psychology of the human mind. He's organized and attentive to detail. If he wasn't a football player, if he had graduated as a finance major from USC and had worked at Goldman Sachs and wherever and was now the leader of their whatever, he'd be really good at it. And so, and people don't, your identity's one thing or the other. His identity is this great football player who's in the Hall of Fame. So that's how people know him.
Yep.
And so that's why a lot of people say, well, why is this guy going to run the football? I mean, he was a good player. Well, if you didn't know that part and you just met him, you would learn what a skilled, intelligent leader he is. And he's one of the smartest people I know. He's a really bright guy. So, I mean, that's why this is working. It's great that he's Tony Baselli, and it's great that he was a really good player, and he loves Jacksonville, and he's charismatic and all that. But he's a really good leader, and I say that very sincerely. He's one of my very close friends, as he is yours, so we're around him a lot. You know, I talk to him all the time now, and I can tell you. So I'm excited. By the way, I was excited about it 3 years ago when it almost happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it almost happened a few years ago, and he and Shad had to get it right. And like Tony said, it happens on the right time, and it's happened on the right time.
I think he believes that too. And before I met James Gladstone, Frank, Tony was the reason that I thought this was going to work.
And Gladstone's a star, isn't he?
Now he's second.
Yeah, you told me during the break before we came on here that you're number one. You are cynical. I love that about you, but you are, and you've seen so much in this league, way more than I have, because you've covered the league forever. That it's hard to impress you. I think that's safe. I'm speaking for you, but I think that's accurate. You're overwhelmed by this guy, aren't you?
Well, and for this reason, and I was actually talking to Baselli about this today. Look, talent evaluation is obviously a key part of being a general manager. But I don't know if I would have been as impressed or as optimistic about what's going on inside the Jags had I been around it 25 years ago, because I wouldn't at that age have understood how incredibly important high-end communication and the ability to take what you're thinking and what you want to do and put it into a process that works and that people understand. And I think where James Gladstone's strength is, and I don't want to speak for him, but my sense is he's very passionate about being able to take people's ideas, people's thoughts, hearing it in such a way, and then acting upon it in a systematic way that yields results. And I kind of went a little Gladstone-esque with the verbiage there. But I think that's what he's very good at. During the draft, when he talked, and I don't know how, if people followed the draft carefully, they heard him say this. When he talked about trying to make their personnel meetings water cooler meetings instead of board meetings, really struck home with me, because how many times have you been in a board meeting, Frank, and about 45 minutes in, you're sleeping, you're doodling, you're on your phone, you want to get out of there.
Correct.
And at the end of that meeting is no time to make a decision. because you're ready to go home, you're ready to have a beer, whatever.
Right.
He's obviously very focused on how do I get all this intelligence I have in the building into a usable thought rather than just a thought that somebody's having when they're driving home. And I think his ability to communicate and his passion for that, I told you during the break, I was around Bill Polian for 10 years, who's a Hall of Famer and who took 3 franchises to a lot of success. Communication-wise and ability to think through process, he feels like a young Bill Polian to me.
Yeah, you do. John told me during the break, I was going to say it if you didn't, when we weren't broadcasting, we were just talking, you said, dude, this guy might be Polian.
Yeah.
He might be that good. I mean, and that was that wasn't for show because we were off the air.
There's a long way to go in that, and James be the first one to tell you, look, they haven't played a game yet. But process-wise, if you talk to people in the building, they're like, this guy's process is off the charts. And I did an Ozone podcast with Les Snead at the owners' meetings. And that was the takeaway from Les is the process that James has for organizing a system and then getting information out of that system. Think how key that is on draft day when you are trying to take 40 scouts, their thoughts on 300 players, how to get that into a decision is what it's all about. I would just be surprised if he's not really good at this.
Yeah, all right. Well, I want to get to the players after the break. So before we get to the break, the third guy, Liam Cohen.
I haven't talked as much because I don't know him as well because circumstance during the offseason, I talked to GM more.
Right.
I've known
and
Tony
around the draft and free agency for sure. You
right. So I've had James on multiple times. I did an Ozone podcast with him, which was probably the best one we've done in 5 years. So I have more of a feel for what he's about. I've been around Liam a few times, like him a lot. And what I would tell you is we've now Tony's doing what he's doing. This is what he does. This is his time. Off season's fine. James Gladstone's the draft. We've seen it. We won't really know Liam Cohen until they lose a couple. And then you see where coaches really have to thrive, how we handle stuff that's going on. I know there's stuff going on, but it's not stuff that we can sort of see and gauge and analyze and see. So I have no reason to think he won't be high end. Everybody I know who knows him believes he's going to be high end. But I don't have that much to say about it until we see going through it. But I like the guy. I like the direction.
Yeah. Look, he's never been the leader of the locker room before.
Right.
I like how transparent he is. When we talk about the draft, he said, look, I now got to watch guys, see if they'll be good special teams players.
Right.
Never in my career have I ever had to watch a recruit, a draftee.
He was always trying to keep the good guys off teams.
That's probably right. That's probably right. So he never had to worry about watching a guy to see if he's going to be a good special teams player. So now he is. So I want to get to the players. But one final thought is the Gabe Davis thing. I'll give you my thoughts on Gabe Davis. I was not surprised. And there's no knock on Gabe. I was not surprised. He was clearly going to be at best their fifth receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to be a fifth receiver who didn't play special teams, which you can't have.
Yeah, you can end it right there.
Yeah. If you but if you're going to be the fifth receiver, you got to play teams.
Yep.
But I will throw in one more thing, and this is no knock on him, but when you have a veteran guy in his 20s, 26, 27, a veteran guy that has been a prominent player, and then suddenly he's the fifth guy, that's an awkward locker room, and that's no knock on him. Now, if you're 33 and your time's kind of come and gone, and you can be the old man, the old hand, the old head as they call it, then that's a little different. But it would have been awkward. I saw that from when I saw them when they got De'Ami Brown and when they drafted Travis Hunter, and you know what Parker's going to be as their return guy and their fourth guy. It would have been again. I'm not saying I knew they were going to cut him. I didn't think I necessarily. Right. But I'm not surprised given all those variables.
Yeah, and sometimes when this team has changed regimes so much that I think people who follow it forget that there's shakeups during regime change. We're so used to them.
Right. Yeah.
So we think they're common.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, the bottom line is Gabe Davis came in. He was another GM's decision. He was another head coach's decision. Came in under that, had been here only 1 year and was hurt weren't really sure what he was going to be, weren't sure of the role. Again, I'm with you. I was a little surprised, but it was one of those decisions once you stepped back from it and said, oh, okay, well, he wasn't going to play special teams. Weren't really sure how quickly he was going to get back to 100% after the injury. How much was he going to be able to give us? What was he going to give us? We weren't going to be able to see it that much during OTAs. Let's go ahead and not have that in the building, even if it costs us some money.
Yeah, and it puts him in a bad position too.
Right.
Not just the team. So it makes a lot of sense. And again, the other part of that is, by all accounts, they've got their starting 3 receivers.
Right.
Look, we may not know.
And Parker Washington, number 4, plays a lot of special teams.
That's right. We may not know where everything's going to end. I got a pretty good hunch who their 3 receivers are going to be. Yeah. Call me crazy. I think I know that part.
Out of the entire roster, receiver and D end, and middle linebacker, are probably and Tyson
and quarterback. But yeah, but
a lot of other stuff is up for grabs.
Correct.
And number 1 receiver ain't up for grabs.
Correct. And the top 3, I don't think are either. Let's take a break. John Oshie is going to be here for the next hour. We're going to talk more Jaguars. We're going to talk about our days in the business. We got a lot of fun stuff to get to. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's St. Augustine's favorite son.
I've always admired diplomats.
And Jacksonville's favorite stepson.
It's the stories that you tell.
Joe Coward.
So much fun and imagination.
Afternoons 2 to 4.
Not what it looks like.
On 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA-certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Are you struggling with hair loss? At IHRS, we understand because we've been there too. We're dedicated to finding the best solution tailored just for you.
My hair looks great. It was thinning, and IHRS restored my hair.
It's now fuller, it's thicker, voluminous. It's made me feel great.
With the latest technology and FDA-approved laser therapy, PRP, and non-surgical hair addition, we offer guaranteed solutions for men and women. With over 35 years of experience, IHRS found a hair restoration for us, and we can find one for you.
For me.
For me.
And me too.
Visit hairforme.com or call 904-777-IHRS. Get a free microscopic analysis and get to the root of your problem. This $395 analysis is yours for free. Call 904-777-4477 now.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The road to the playoffs is paved by a strong off-season.
That is the game within the game.
Navigate the way with AA Automotive at 1010XL.
That's a beautiful thing.
AA Automotive on Richard Street. Family run since 1954.
The restaurant of the day is the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Get a Greek Feast family combo meal tray with chicken skewers, gyro meat, gulmades, and more. Feed 4 to 6 people for just $49.95. Feed 8 to 10 for just $99.95. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
I mean, to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Awaken 180. Jaguars fans will get their first glimpse of the franchise's newest gem, number 2 overall draft pick, Travis Hunter, along with all the other rookies as they kick off their 2025 rookie minicamp on Saturday, May 10th. For fans wanting to attend minicamp this weekend at the Miller Electric Center, tickets are free, but fans must reserve tickets via a Ticketmaster account to be sure to lock up a spot, as previous years' practices have sold out very quickly. Tickets are first come, first served, with just north of 2,000 available, so hurry over and get some. Gates open Saturday at noon, with practice running from 1:25 to 2:30. Don't miss a chance to get your first look at your newest Jaguars. It's 81 degrees at 5:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
Johnny and I made that trip to see ELO.
I thought that was Local. It's not Local?
Low Cash.
Low Cash.
Low Cash.
I thought that was Local.
They're coming, by the way, Low Cash.
Why wouldn't they, Frank?
That's exactly right. The ELO is they're touring, but they're not coming here. Low Cash is coming here. Travis Hunter, what's he going to do? I mean, 100% offense.
I think he's going to
40%
play
defense.
It's hard to say 100% because they're not going to play 100% of the snaps,
right?
Obviously, but I think he's going to play what we would consider a full-time role on offense. On defense, I don't have a great feel for it yet, but I think he's going to play in packages.
Yeah.
That the spirit of it, I think, is this. I think they would like to play him in packages where they maximize his ability to turn the ball over, to make plays.
Get off the field down.
Yeah, I mean,
my guess.
And I think they would like to put him in situations. He has such great ball instincts.
Right.
If you put him in situations where he influences you getting the ball back once every 2 games, do you like that? Does that matter? Yes.
Right.
So I think that's where it'll start. I also, my understanding from different impressions I get is that's to start. If he proves he can handle more defensively, and they believe he's going to try, that he can force his way into more the more he handles. Does that make sense?
And it does. And number one, they all will admit, not Travis, because he was play every down, and I appreciate that about him, but everybody has to figure out what kind of load you can handle.
Sure.
Nobody knows that because no one's tried to do it.
Right.
So he's a different kind of cat, but he's still doing something that hasn't been attempted.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of it. My guess is Jags win the toss, defer, kickoff. Other team starts at the 35, 1st and 10. He's not in there.
Right.
7 plays later, 3rd and 7 from the plus 24. He's absolutely in there.
Yeah.
I think it's not quite that simple.
Right.
But I think get off the field down.
Everybody wants the simple thing.
Yeah, it's not.
Tell me how many plays you're going to play. Well, every game's different.
That's
every
right.
situation's different.
Correct. But I think get off the field downs, 3rd and long, 4th and down plays, red zone plays. If he can handle the load, and I think he can, I think you're going to see him in almost every one of those circumstances. And then as the game goes on, how many plays have you played? And I do think this. I think he's I will say this, and I know you've heard this too. The guy they think is a really good player that nobody's talking about is De'Ami Brown. Now, we'll see if they're right. But they think the De'Ami Brown that people saw in the postseason for Washington last year is that's who he is.
Yeah, they think they're a lot faster, a lot more explosive, all that. I think the thing with Travis Hunter, too, that is important to sort of remember, we're such a nation and world of precedents.
Yeah.
So every ozone question I get is, well, it's never been done before, so he's going to get hurt or he's going to get this. One thing I've learned from talking to people who've been around NFL players on a training and conditioning level, they're not all created equal. Trayvon Walker, for example, is built differently than the guy next to him because he's an elite physical human being.
Right.
The elite guys are built different. And just because your normal human being, your normal NFL player would wilt physically under that much load, Travis Hunter is an elite guy. He's a different guy. So don't necessarily assume that just because it applies to the norm that it applies to a special human being.
Yeah.
When I was in Indy, Marvin Harrison did different things than the other receivers because he was put on this earth to be that.
Right.
I wouldn't ask most players to play 2 ways, that many snaps. But everybody you talk to who watched him play in college, who knows something about football, said he was doing stuff physically that had never been seen before. It's not assumed that can't translate to the NFL.
All right, it's big picture here. And listen, we got a lot of football, a lot of time, a lot of off-season football left before we get to real football. I know that. But by this point, when you get to first week of May, NFL teams, pretty much this is the team they're playing with. There could be a change here or there, but for the most part, NFL,
usually,
it's pretty, not always, but pretty much most of the time, it's mostly the team they're playing. So you kind of know essentially they're 90. You probably could get pretty close to the 53, if not exactly. So you kind of know their team. Big picture from 10,000 feet. What do you like? What concerns you? Big picture. I don't need specifics.
Good question.
I don't need I don't need player by player. Just
I think first of all, if you think you know the 22 right now, I would buckle up because I'm not sure you do.
Yeah. All right.
I think the offensive line is the best way I can say it is usually when I write about training camp competition, I sort of write about it tongue in cheek because there's really usually not training camp competition. You usually know the 22 going in, and training camp competition is what coaches like to talk about, so the players are motivated.
Right.
But there's really not. You know who's going to start. I don't think that's the case at all. this year on the offensive line.
Totally. Well, particularly on the offensive line.
I don't think
totally
it's necessarily true on the interior of the defense.
Agreed.
I think Foye starts. I think, I think Tyson starts, and I think the two ends start.
I think you're dead on.
I think beyond that, I think we know the receivers. I don't think we know who starts at running back. I think we're pretty sure 16 is going to line up behind center.
But I agree with your point.
And Strange starts.
Yeah, but your point is right. You said it exactly right. Everybody always says there's competition,
right?
And it's a lot of crap sometimes,
right?
There's going to be competition. I told someone this the other day about the offensive line. Here's what I'll tell you. I think Hainsey's the center.
Mm-hmm.
I think McCarry's the right guard, and I think everything else is up. I think Walker Little and Anton Harrison better fight to fight off Aduma and Fred Johnson. I think Ezra Cleveland's going to have to fight off Wyatt Milam. I think there's going to be competition. And by the way, and I think Robert Hainsey has to be better than both Fortner and I'm drawing a blank, Monheim. I think he's got a
Monheim steamroller.
Yeah. So I mean, I do. I think you're right. By the way, right now they have 5 drafted running backs on the team.
Mm-hmm.
5 running backs they drafted. Okay, and so I think it's going to be great. And I think Jordan Lewis is probably going to be in there, but I think my guess would be Eric Murray's going to be in there.
I bet Hunter gets on the field.
But your point's right. It's going to be they're going to battle for spots, man.
Yeah.
And I'm always I'm the glasses always half full guy. That's kind of how I'm wired. But I like kind of what they've done. There's some I'll give you my strengths and concerns.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there's enough edge work because in the NFL edges have to get some time off. And I hope there's enough behind Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen. I will tell you that. I hope the interior defensive tackles can play well. I know they like the potential. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact, I know you do too, that they do like what they think Mason Smith and Tyler Lacey and Jordan Jefferson might be, or they would have addressed it. They hope Devon Hamilton can come back. Eric Armstead's still there. But I hope they're good there. I would say backup edge, starting the interior, safety opposite Murray. They're probably areas I'm concerned about. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.
Yeah, I think they like Ranshaw a lot.
I think if you asked me to bet my money, he will be the starting safety opposite Eric Murray. I think I'd be surprised if he's not.
Yeah, I think if I had a concern, because we haven't seen this offensive line, how's it going to look? And I think they are doing as good a job as they could possibly do to make that feel like a completely new thing next year. I think the competition's real. I think there's a good chance, like you said, that Milam comes up and is a factor in this. At the same time, you wonder, I think Robert Hainsey has a really good chance to be an upgrade. But Mitch Morse wasn't a bad player.
I agree.
And Brandon Sheriff wasn't a bad player. And a cynic from the outside looks at that and say, well, how much better did they get in free agency? They signed different guys. Is coaching going to make that much of a difference? Is the reset going to make that much of a difference? I think that bunch has to prove that their approach is going to work. So I think it'll be better, and I think it'll be a better run blocking line because they're going to care about it and emphasize it a great deal. I do feel like the offensive line is going to be in the first year. I think by year 2 or 3 of this regime, I think they're going to have it fixed and going. I will be interested to see what doesn't quite work with their plan because it's hard to believe that all 5 guys, all 5 spots, it's not going to be 7 blocks of granite right out of the box.
And to surmise everything you said, number one, that's why there's so many guys in the competition.
Yeah.
That's why they went and got 4 guys in free agency. And
that's why it's hard to analyze. I guess is what I'm getting at.
And it shows you how important they think it is. Fair enough. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have you talk about some other sports, Johnny. We're doing headlines. I want to see what you got. Okay, we're going to talk about other stuff. Okay, so
just don't ask me NBA. Beyond that,
yeah, JJ, you got that? The NBA would just be me, you, and the expert me. You with me on that? That's what we'll do.
All I have thoughts. They just won't be very good thoughts.
JJ's got headlines after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
You love sports. You live for the action.
He did it again!
Experience the excitement of the moment on 1010XL.
Fantastic news here. Due to overwhelming response, Beard's Diamonds extending their amazing earring and bracelet sale for Mother's Day. Hicken here. So now through Mother's Day, you can still save up to 40% off diamond earrings and diamond tennis bracelets. It's Beard's most ambitious offer ever, and response has been incredible. The corporate-owned big box stores can't touch these prices. Beard's locally owned, man. Say hi to the Lupos when you go over there. The freedom to give you pricing you deserve, highest quality diamond jewelry. Celebrate the mothers in your life with something they'll appreciate for decades to come. They also have special pricing on other Mother Day favorites, including colored gemstones, pearls, pendants, and fashion jewelry. Beard's Diamonds, your destination for making this Mother's Day truly special. Don't miss Beard's Diamonds' biggest sale ever. Up to 40% off Beard's already beatable value price. Now through Mother's Day at the Town Center. Only locally owned jeweler. It's Beard's Diamonds.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Toyota, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. We're proud to offer a lifetime warranty, lifetime oil changes, and lifetime customer service. We're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, where we're ready to give you peace of mind for a lifetime. We're here to wow you.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
We know Mom is special.
The best defense is a good offense.
Let 1010XL help you with gift ideas for Mom. From Beaches Dermatology, Sawgrass Marriott Spa, and Kuhn Flowers. Go to 1010XL.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town, setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Pizza to Tea here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at zeroresjacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here. Summer heat is on the rise, but don't sweat it. Big Chief Tire has your back with $50 off all AC services. Whether your system needs a quick recharge or a full repair, their expert team will keep you cool and road ready all season long. With 5 locations across Jacksonville, trusted service is always nearby. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your AC service. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right. We got JJ's headlines for the second day in a row, folks.
Love it.
Everyone's talking about it around town.
That's no question.
I could barely drive here. There was people waiting for me outside of my apartment this morning.
No doubt. Your wrist is sore from all the autographs. I get it.
All right, so let's start with the Jags. We got Jags rookie minicamp this weekend. So Saturday at the Miller Electric Center, gates open at noon. The practice is, I guess it starts around 1:30, 1:25, they say, and tickets are available online. What are we going to see out there?
Johnny, go first.
You're going to see rookies running around in shorts.
Okay.
I'm pretty infamous for not having that much interest from a theatrical standpoint in OTAs and in mini camps. But, and it's a big but, what you can see out of these shorts practices is speed, athleticism, and energy. And Travis Hunter's got that.
Yeah,
I think that's the show.
Yeah, you're going to see number 12, JJ. Yeah. That's what you're going to see. There'll be other
for me.
There'll be other stuff.
Right.
You're going to see number 12.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And it can be fun. About 8 or 9 years ago, whenever Blake was a rookie, Blake Bortles, they opened up rookie minicamp.
Yeah.
And there was an energy to it. So if not for pure football, come for the party.
All right. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but the number one story out of the NFL today is Jadeveon Clowney cut by the Panthers. He only played one season there. He only had 5.5 sacks, but 9.5 the year before that. Any chance the Jags bring him in for some depth at pass rush?
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's not a great answer, but I don't know if you bring him in thinking he's going to get you a bunch of sacks, but could he be an impactful player in spots still? Absolutely.
I tell you, we thought this at the top of our program. Typically, I don't fall in love with the names of the 30-year. Pete Prisco always says, be careful of name over game, and I agree with that. And typically, I don't fall in love with the guy in his 30s that his time's behind him. But this is the one that might be a little bit of an exception for me because I still think that's an area where they need some backups. Ogba will be one of the backups.
Yeah.
I know they drafted a guy in the 6th round, but I don't think he'll cost very much. He did have 9.5 sacks when he was on a good pass rushing team, the Ravens, 2 years ago. This is one of the few that have gotten my attention. I would have some interest if it was me.
And people always hate my answers when it comes to pass rushers because when you're picking guys up like this, I don't particularly care how many sacks. I think Clowney would be safe in that sense because even if he gets you no sacks, he is such a force, and I think he would be until he stopped playing if he was 45 years old.
Right.
He always figures out a way to matter in the run game. He's not going to be a weakness for you anywhere, even if he doesn't get to huge numbers.
Okay.
All right, last night in the association, another epic comeback. And we joked before or earlier in the show that after we went off the air yesterday, me and Frank looked at each other and said, Celtics by 20.
Right.
Easy win. And it really looked like that for 3/4 of the game. And then they stopped doing basically anything on offense. At one point, they missed 14 straight shots in the 4th quarter. Woeful shooting down the stretch for the Celtics. Here's a stat for you. Teams that have won the first 2 road games in a best-of-7 series are 30-5 all-time. Wow. That's over 85% they've won. Yet the Boston Celtics still the favorite to win the series by most sports books.
That surprises me. I said this earlier, John. You don't have to weigh in on this since you're not an NBA guy. I'm not an NBA guy either, so I'm a fraud when I weigh in on this. I watch very little, but I've started watching the last week or so. So watching that game last night without watching the whole season, which is totally irresponsible, but I'm going to say it anyway, it looked to me like there's a sense of urgency the Knicks have. The Celtics didn't. Even when the Celtics were way up, I wasn't sure the Knicks weren't coming back. It was bizarre.
I think some of that comes with them winning the title last year.
Yeah.
I watch enough NBA to be dangerous, which is to say I watch it when I go up to strings.
Yeah.
But it's hard to miss 14 shots in a row in the NBA.
It really is. It really is.
You almost have to try.
Yeah, I was, but it just seemed
they were
like,
trying.
It seems like the Knicks are gritty. I know it's a cliche, but they're grittier, at least it seems, to a guy that hadn't watched much all year long.
And
I'm going to say the Celtics in 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said the same.
Wow.
JJ said if he was betting his money right now with no odds, just who wins the series, he'd still bet the Celtics.
I would.
I wouldn't. I'd
7,
bet the Knicks. Take 7, okay.
And in the other series, we finally have a home team that won a game. So in the entire second round of the NBA playoffs, the road teams have won every single game. Finally, last night, OKC, the number 1 seed in the West, just destroyed the Nuggets. I turned it off in like the second quarter. I think they had an 87-56 halftime lead. It was clear that the Nuggets were like, hey, we got the game we needed on the road, so let's take it back home. That series knotted up at 1.
They won by 43 points. that was flexing your muscles. Scored 87 in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, and so no, I again, I don't
pretty
watch
good stat for how many games teams win when they do that.
Yeah. but here's the thing is again, dummies like me that don't watch it very much, I say, okay, Oklahoma City's got by far the best record, but other than Gilgeous Alexander, I don't know their plays. I don't know if they're any good. And JJ did not want to call me the dumbass that I am, wanted to say, hey, dumbass, they're really good. But the truth is they showed people like me that just don't watch the league how really good they are. They really did.
All right, so let's go to the links. We talked a little bit earlier with Lee Smith, who is actually there, I should say, at the Truist Championship in Philadelphia. $20 million purse. So usually the week before a major, you don't have too many big names out there, but there's a few. And I love seeing Ricky Fowler right now. 2 shots back at 7 under.
Yeah, we talked about it with Lee earlier. Look, I love it. All sports are better when the guys everybody knows are in the mix. Ricky Fowler hasn't been a factor in a long time. He finished at 7 under. Keith Mitchell, by the way, a former Georgia Bulldog, who I've had him on the show before. He's hilarious. So I'm rooting for him a little bit, too. Danny McCarthy are at 9 and 8, respectively. Then a bunch of guys are at 7. Morikawa, Sepp Straka. Yeah, Ricky Fowler. I mean, if a big-name guy, that's fun, right?
I've heard of Ricky Fowler.
You've heard of it.
Yeah.
John Ozier's heard of it.
That's a good step.
That's fantastic.
And Justin Thomas, Oberg, and McIlroy all tied at 4 under, so not too far back. And Hideki Matsuyama also at 4 under.
Yeah, a lot
of
guys.
Some huge names out there.
There are, but there's a lot of guys between that 4 and that 9.
Yeah,
so
true.
a lot of guys playing very well.
All right, let's go. Since he was saying earlier he's an NHL guy. Last night on the ice we had the Maple Leafs take down Florida. So the defending Stanley Cup champions right now in a hole 0-2.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, they're in trouble, but from what, and again, if Baloo's listening to this, he's laughing because Baloo knows I know enough about hockey to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But to me, Florida, the 2 games I've watched of Florida, they still look like the faster, more physical team. Wouldn't surprise me if Florida came back and won it. And most hockey fans out there now are listening to me going, I don't know
well, you know
what
what?
I'm talking about.
But you dropped a lot more than I could.
I know enough to know that NHL playoffs are fantastic.
Yeah, I would have not. Let me just tell you this. If you hadn't been sitting there, JJ would not have brought up the hockey.
That's fair.
Because he knows I got nothing. Okay?
Edmonton Oilers, I'm picking
he knows
away.
I got nothing, right? So
the only thing I know is that a Canadian team has not won since the early 90s, and I cheer hard for that every year to keep going.
It'd be a cool story if Toronto won it because they haven't won it since, I think, 67. So that's kind of what I'm pulling for.
67. How about that?
Wow, and I'm sure they have like one of the most hardcore fan bases in the NHL.
It's cool scenery to watch a game from up there.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, let's go to baseball. Bad news for the Pirates, or maybe good news. I can't tell. But your boys fired Derek Shelton after, about a month and a week into the season.
I would not want to be a Braves fan right now because the pain is coming. My team, so
they pretty much win whenever they roll it out there.
Here's the bottom line. Johnny, here's the bottom line. Worst owner in the history of sports.
Wow.
Just a horrible owner, horrible GM, horrible roster. They don't hit it all last year. So what do they do this year? They do nothing and bring back the same team, don't hit it all. So you know what we do? Fire the manager. Must be his fault.
It's always coach.
Yeah, and I have no idea if he's a good manager or not. Nobody will ever know. But it's just a clown show franchise. Just a big clown show.
But it says a lot about your character that you stick with.
Yeah. Well, I've got great character. They got a sucky team.
All right.
Character.
We got a big one tonight. Actually, only one basketball game tonight. So this is the first time in a while we've only had that, but it's a big one. Warriors at Wolves tonight, 8:30, TNT. Obviously without Steph.
Yeah.
So if they can steal this series without Steph. By the way, Curry today said it was a gut punch, and he won't rush his return. Like we said a couple of days ago, he's out at least a week, which would mean probably 3 or 4 games. So it looks like they're going to have to win this series without him.
You tell me. You watch it. I don't. I can't imagine them winning this series without Steph Curry. I can't imagine it.
Me neither. I think that, in game 1, he still was able to play 13 minutes, had a really good first 13 minutes, scored 13 points. But then you saw Draymond really get into it, and he had 18 points, which you're never going to see again. And then Buddy Hield has been in fuego the last few games. So I don't expect that to keep going. I think they're going to lose the series, and so does Vegas. Right now, Minnesota is still a minus 200 favorite, even though they're down a game. So you have to pay 200 to even win 100.
They may have to lean on Sleepy Floyd.
There you go. That's my kind of NBA talk. Well done.
All right, and let's take you out with our musical note of the day. This is, of course, Chicago, one of Frank Frangie's favorite bands, and that is because Robert Prevost, I hope I'm saying that right. It doesn't even matter anymore because he's Leo the 14th now.
Yeah, right.
He becomes the first American pope. He was previously a cardinal in the city of Chicago.
Robert Francis Prevost. He will be Pope Leo 14. He is the first ever U.S.-born pope. You're exactly right about that. Went to Villanova, by the way, but he is from Chicago.
He's representing. Good for him.
Well done. Well done as always. Nice job, JJ. We appreciate it. John Ozier and I will be back to wrap the program after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The PGA Tour playing at the Philadelphia Cricket Club for the Truist Championship Round 1 on Thursday. It is the penultimate event before the PGA Championship next week at Quail Hollow. The golf course has been around since 1922, but this is the first time that the PGA Tour has made a stop. Rory McIlroy is the defending champion from when it was the Wells Fargo Championship. He's plus 500 to repeat as champion. Colin Morikawa and Ludwig Oberg are both plus 1,500. Xander Schauffele plus 1,600. Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay both plus 1,800. And Jordan Spieth and Tommy Fleetwood both plus 2,500. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Got a leaky faucet, AC blowing hot air, a funky smelling septic tank? No worries, Duck Duck Rooter has your back. We're your one-stop shop for plumbing, septic, and air conditioning, so you can stop juggling 3 companies and just make one easy call. Our expert techs are fast, friendly, and really know their ducks. I mean stuff. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, AC, and a whole lot of quacking good service.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles update. Tomorrow night, we will have our in-store signing with Jaguar Monteric Brown. May 9th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. inside Showtime. Join us tomorrow night from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. for Jaguar Monteric Brown at Showtime Sports sports cards and collectibles. Update your collection.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hays Carlyon here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Hayes Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success. A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors to get the job done right, Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit Coastal Equipment for a demo today.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
For 120 years, Ford has been committed to doing the right thing for America. And we're not going anywhere. That's why Ford assembles more vehicles in the U.S. than any other automaker and employs the most hourly auto workers in the country. That's not a boast, it's a pledge to the Americans who drive our vehicles and the capable people who build them, because our values can't be offshored. We do it for the people who make America. Workers, farmers, first responders, communities. As long as America depends on them, they can depend on us. Ford Motor Company. From America, for America.
Based on S&P Global Mobility Calendar Year 2024 U.S. light vehicle production data. Assembled in the USA with domestic and foreign parts. Based on 2024 year-end hourly employment data.
Grow your hair back. IHRS offers the latest technology in hair transplants and restorative treatments.
Fast, easy, and effective.
With over 35 years experience, our team is committed to delivering exceptional results. Hair restoration is for us, and it can be for you too.
See how IHRS technology can grow your hair back. Go to hairforme.com or call 904-777-IHRS, 777-4477 for $250 off.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where have we been today? We had Lee Smith stop by to talk golf with us. He is at the Truist right now, and he certainly prepared us for Quail Hollow. The PGA's next week, so the next major, the second official major of the year, and we certainly talked about that. John Oehser came by and is still here from Jaguars.com, talking all about the Jags, what to expect. Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, his thought of that triumvirate. And also, we did headlines, certainly, with JJ. We covered a lot of different stuff. John's going to stay with us till we say hello to Rick Ballou in about 15 minutes. All right. High school writer. Did you go from high school, Florida Jags? Was there anything else?
I replaced you on Florida after I covered high schools.
Right. When I left in '93, you became the Gator beat writer.
Yeah, I was in some capacity on high schools, 88 when I got to the paper to 93 when you left.
Okay.
Florida 93, 94 until 95 when the Jags started.
So 2 years on the Gators, and then then the Jags, and then how long till you went to Indy?
95 to 01 Jags at the paper.
Yeah.
Indy from 01 to 11, and then back here from 11 to now.
All right, I'm not going to ask you what you liked the best, but I'm going to ask you stories that stood out from every stop. High school I don't care about, but stories that stood out from every stop. Give me a Spurrier who stood out, a Coughlin what stood out, a Dungy what stood out.
I mean, for our local, I can tell you, I loved covering high school sports, which you did too. Covering Corky, covering Reigns.
Okay.
I loved it.
I did too.
I loved covering high school sports.
I did too, but I loved high school sports.
And have some relationships that I absolutely value of a lot of high school people who have passed on. Jimmy Johnson at Reigns, James Day at Reigns, Corky.
Same.
I mean, just great people that I loved having known. On Florida, probably I was lucky. I covered 2 Sugar Bowls. I got to cover Steve, who I never had a chance to develop a great relationship with.
Yeah, you weren't on it long enough.
But I loved having been around him and sort of seeing that. I don't think I appreciated, because it was my first college beat, I don't know that I appreciated how not every college coach is Spurrier.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow me.
I get it.
If that's your only experience.
Yeah, right. Good point.
You don't realize that dynamic.
Right.
I think was probably very unique. I thought it was all like that. But the Final Four run, I covered Kruger's Final Four run. And I think that I've always regretted to a degree I would have liked to have covered college basketball in some capacity for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And gotten NCAA experience more than I did.
But if you're
the Final Four run was great.
But if you're only on colleges for 2 years, you had it was great. As the college basketball fan, you had a good year.
Well, that year,
that was a blast. One of my favorite teams.
It was a blast because it was unexpected.
Right.
And I always kind of correlate that. The 2 greatest things I ever covered was that Final Four run and the Jags in '96.
Yeah.
Because it was so unexpected, and you only get that unexpected shock the world feeling every now and then.
Right.
The '96 playoff run, I covered Super Bowls with the Colts. I covered Super Bowl. I have a Super Bowl ring.
Right.
The '96 final. The '96 playoff run is still by far the most memorable NFL.
That's awesome. Even more all that Colts stuff.
Yeah, because the Colts stuff. By the time I was covering the Colts, they got good.
And you covered the really good Colts.
Yeah, I should clarify. Covering the Colts in those 10 years, you learn so much about what it takes to win it, being around Peyton, what it takes to be great, and the level of commitment, dedication, everything that goes into it. You get an appreciation for that. And organizationally, they were on the football side of the building, at first-class organization. But they got good in 2002, and expectations followed it. That the entire storyline at the Colts from 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006 was, when were they finally going to win it? That's a different thing to cover than the unexpected team that shocks the world and is a great feel-good story.
Sure.
There's a lot of expectations, and it was a sigh of relief for Peyton and the Colts when they won it in 06. I'm not saying they didn't enjoy it.
Right.
But nobody said, oh, my goodness, I can't believe they won the Super Bowl. It was, oh, they won their Super Bowl. So
I got to believe part of that, too. And look, 96 was in your hometown.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
You're from here. You went to high school here. I mean, that's...
Well, we had all the people in the media in 96.
It was amazing.
I think one thing that I forget in covering the team now when I've been doing the league for 31 years, in 96, there was still an element of, we have a team.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Well, now I think 30 years later, there are fewer people who sort of realize just how cool it is to have a team. And I get it. You shouldn't be like lingering in that.
Right.
But you went from, I'm in college in 87 and reading Sports Illustrated stories about the Jacksonville Patriots.
Right. That's right.
And thinking, we'll never get a team.
Yeah.
To seeing it sort of tangentially from knowing Pete, and he was covering the team and all the stories about the NFL. And then all of a sudden, within a year and a half, I'm writing a book.
Isn't that great?
So that obviously.
And by the way, for people that don't know, a real book. John and Pete wrote a book about that run. So I mean, when you say book, you don't mean it figuratively. Literally, you wrote a book.
Yeah. So in 88, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Wasn't in the business, and then 8 years later, covering
that's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. So
those were. You're right about that. That the 96 run, people forget how magical it was. It was magical for me because first of all, 95, Terry Norvell and I went live from the Hall of Fame game. We were literally at the first game the Jags ever played. I was at every Jaguar road game in 95.
That's right.
And so I mean, we certainly can. I can tell you that was 96 was crazy. I was on the Gator Network. I did the pregame for the Gator Network. I hosted until I threw it to Mick a half an hour before kickoff.
Okay.
So I was on the Gator Network the whole time and covering all those Jaguar games. And we traveled with the Gators. I mean, I traveled with the Gators. So I traveled with the Gators and with the Jags both in 96. The Gators win the national title.
That's right.
52-20 over FSU, their first ever national title. And the Jags almost go to the Super Bowl. I mean, I can tell you the Gators had their celebration in the swamp. 60,000 people there on a Saturday. And I did the radio broadcast because Mick was with the basketball team. So Mick Hubert's with the basketball team.
Okay.
I'm doing the radio broadcast, whatever radio broadcast you do from a celebration. We have some guests on, then we throw it to the podium, and then we'd come back. So on the Gator Network, all over the Gator Network, we did a radio broadcast that Saturday morning. I think it was like at 10 in the morning, 10 or 11.
Right.
Okay. Lasted till about 1, maybe 1 or 2. Drove to Orlando to fly to Boston because the Jags-Patriots game was the next day.
Right.
So the Jags-Patriots AFC Championship game in Foxborough was the day after the Gator celebration. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The Gator celebration, and so I hosted one and went to cover the other and got sound afterwards. So that was a crazy time.
I had to walk around Foxborough Stadium the night after the loss in the AFC Championship game twice because our now retired columnist Gene Fournette parked in the wrong spot and got the car towed.
He did not.
So we had to find
the car was towed.
It was moved
awesome.
into a different lot.
I love
so
him.
Me and Prisco and Fournette, I think Bianchi was there too. All I had to find it. That's a Gene story that doesn't get out there.
Yeah, God bless him. And by the way, I said this. I know you feel this way too. Tip of the cap to Gene Fournette. What a wonderful career.
44 years in the business, man. That's a hike. And I told him last week, I said, he's lucky because not everybody got to finish it out like that.
That's exactly
really
right.
cool.
It absolutely is. So tip of the cap to Gene. And the ultimate good sport. We teased him a lot. The ultimate good sport. And I'll tell you this about Gene Fournette. He loved covering Jacksonville sports. Nothing was too small for him. Obviously, when you're the columnist at the local paper, you do all the big stuff, Super Bowls and every Jaguar run, but he's still willing to do the small stuff.
Yeah.
He was at high school. We kidded him about Corky, but he was at all the high school games. He was always, to the end, was at JU and UNF games.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note about Gene, and again, I tease him as much as anybody. Anybody who reads the Ozone know it. I love to tease him. I can't speak for what the newspaper will do now.
Yeah.
But Jacksonville sports, there's an institutional knowledge and passion that Gene gave it that I think will be hard to replace.
No question. 120% agree with that. So you're exactly right about that. So, all right. Almost out of time. Rick Ballew's going to come in and say hello. This was fun. We're going to drag your butt back in and talk.
We do it more often. I don't know why we don't.
We talk plenty of Jaguar stuff. We want to get you in. You do plenty of Jaguars on our radio station. I'm going to drag you in here to talk about some other stuff.
I promise if you let me know early, I'll watch the NBA the night before.
Well, you watch it twice, then we're caught up.
Okay, that's a good deal.
Then we're about even at that point. But I'm like you, John, as we wrap, I'm very excited about this regime. So we started the program with. I'm excited about our friend Tony Baselli. I think does a wonderful job. I'm excited about James Gladstone and Liam Cohen. And I know it's easy to be excited when everybody's undefeated, and I get that. But I do, and I know I'm always listen, I know who I am, okay? I'm the guy that you lose 75-0 and make 2 first downs. I'm the guy that's going to go in there and go, hey, but they look pretty good on those 2 first downs.
Pretty good first downs.
Yeah, I mean, that's who I know who I am. I'm introspective and honest about that. But having said all that, I'm excited about what.
Well, and I'm the same way. I've covered different regimes. I can usually find something to be optimistic about with the new regime because usually guys who come in and run NFL teams are competent people and know what they're doing. The vibe that I get from this is that they're going to move in the right direction quickly. You're going to like what you see. And I think if you're around the team and follow it closely, you're going to start very quickly getting a feeling of, I like rooting for this bunch.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to verbalize that, but I feel like that's the direction they're going to go. So I'm excited about it. Really am.
Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. Near your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, I'm going to get right to it. I'm not beating around the bush here. I used to think you were the hockey guy.
No.
But I heard Ozier break down hockey a minute ago.
We got a couple of hockey guys sitting here.
Let me just tell you what I heard. I heard a breakdown a minute ago.
Two-line pass.
I hope you were listening.
Two-line pass.
I hope you were listening.
They eliminated the 2-line pass. That's what Osier's going to tell you. They went to the Olympic rules.
Okay. I didn't know there was one, and now I didn't know they eliminated one.
I would love to know what that means.
You know what I love about Johnny is that he went from the 6 original teams that played in 180 feet rinks to the 200 foot rinks, and how much that's drastically changed the game.
Okay.
I had Osier break that down once with me.
Did you really?
And he's outstanding on it.
There's that. Hey, nobody.
The state of Florida, man. I mean, how about the Panthers and the Celtics, both defending champions, both down 0-2 here in the second round of the playoffs.
What's going to happen? Celtics, I got an opinion because I've watched a little bit of that. What's going to happen in the hockey?
I wouldn't be, you know what? And you know how I can be glass half empty when it comes to my teams?
You can.
Okay.
I would say that's a safe.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics come back and win that.
Everybody thinks that.
They're more talented.
Yeah.
Florida Panthers, man, I just do not know. Toronto is such a gutty team. I still think Florida's the better. Florida's got 3 great lines. I mean, their third line is a scoring line, but they made some mistakes the other night and turned over the puck. So we'll see. But I just think the NHL playoffs have been incredible. The overs in like every game. And, we're in a world now where it doesn't matter what the sport is, you want a lot of scoring.
Right.
So you're getting that in the National Hockey League playoffs, which is pretty rare because usually the team that wins is the team with the great goaltender.
All right, so 2 hours of hockey tonight? What's coming up?
Ballou and I texted about hockey the other
I
night.
believe it. I have no doubt. Listen, I know. Just a couple of hockey guys talking puck.
Yeah,
I like
no doubt. So we got a little bit of that tonight. A couple of Jaguar things I want to dive into. Really looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun, and it begins just a couple of minutes.
All right, that's it. Rick Ballew's in. Johnny, thanks, buddy. That was a lot of fun.
Frank, Rick, thanks, bud.
We'll do it again. Rick Ballou is next. He goes into the night for the absent Hays Carlyon and for JJ LaSelva. I'm Frank Frangie. So long.